voice, when we speak about singing, needs an extraordinary energy. So be ready, be prepared about that. In this sense, we need to be strong and healthy. If you're not strong, you have to become strong. If you're not strong, well, train your body in a way that you become strong. Many singers, professional singers, but also semi-professional, do sport, for example, aerodynamic sports, running, swimming, rowing, whatever, yes? And if we want to make a sort of map about the voice, something easy to understand, yeah, we can think about 3 elements, like a bit a cook in a kitchen. 3 main elements which are really basic, which never change. And these are the power of the voice, so the fuel of the voice, let's say the electricity that charges our smartphone, yes, is the breath, okay? So we will speak about the breath, of course, and you have to be able to master the breath. Then there is the second and main element, which is in fact the instrument itself, the source. So, the vocal folds. Good morning. Our precious vocal folds, which are not replaceable. So be aware that we are speaking about a precious instrument. They're not replaceable like the strings of a guitar, of a violin. So consciousness helps us also to preserve them. And let's say, if we want to make a comparison with an instrument, because here we have someone who plays an instrument, the power could be, or the breath could be compared to the fingers that we need to move the chords of a guitar, yeah? And the source, so the voice, can be compared, in fact, to the guitar chords. And then the third element is the filter. Filter, as the word says, is something that filters, that changes the sound, and it is, in fact, for what concerns the voice, the vocal tract, everything that is above the vocal folds. So everything that is above the vocal folds means, for example, the oral cavity. With oral cavity, I mean the mouth, the nasal cavities, yes, I mean the pharynx. Pharynx is the part behind here at the end, between the mouth and the throat. By changing a bit the shape of all these elements of the vocal tract, the velum means the soft palate, yes, all these things, the lips, all these things that are changeable, movable, because I can, for example, protrude my lips, or I cannot protrude them, or I can stretch them, or what can I do? I can, for example, elevate my soft palate, or I cannot elevate it. So there are many ways to change inside my spaces. They're not fixed. Well, by doing that, I will change, of course, the color of my voice. I will have, for example, a brighter color. I will have a darker color. So in fact, we have 2 vocal folds. I mean, 1 instrument, but many voices. The same person with the same instrument can sound operatic or rock and roll, tango. And it's not only about style, it's about the colors, yes? So you have to understand that you are like a lutist, the persons who create the violin, for example. Your instrument is not ready. Your instrument is like a puzzle of elements, and on behalf of how you coordinate them and organize them, you will get a different sound or voice. So it's really your responsibility. It's really in your hands. It's really you. You are the architect of your voice. It's interesting. This thing is interesting. So in that sense, 1 instrument, many voices, and in that sense, the responsibility, yeah, and the consciousness of knowing that, and Learning, of course, to do this, to play with these elements. So if you need a brighter sound or a darker sound, what to do, when and why, yes? So because I was making the comparison with the guitar, and we said that the power could be, for example, the finger to move, the breath to move the vocal folds, the source, so the voice could be, for example, the chord of a guitar, the filter, which filters all this, the sound, the vocal tract for us could be, for example, the music box of the guitar, so that you understand a bit. It's really a little map of your voice in a nutshell, yeah? And for example, when we stretch the chords of a guitar, or if you look at the guitar, that you have, in fact, thicker chords and thinner chords, right? Yeah. Well, you can imagine a bit, there is also a similarity, because to sing in the high register, how do we do this? We don't have, like in a piano, many possibilities. We have just two. Something happens. It's a wonder, in fact. What happens is that the vocal folds change mass and length. So they can become, in fact, longer and thinner. So we can really stretch them. It's real, it's true, it's a wonder, but this is how it works. And in this way, there is, again, maybe a way to make a comparison with a guitar. You stretch the chords of the guitar, or you look at the guitar where you have the thinner chord and you will hear a higher sound. Well, this is how you also create your higher note.